Why is domain modeling important? Creating a domain model allows a deeper understanding of that domain. This deeper understanding is crucial for creating software systems that can adapt to the ever-changing requirements of their users. Let me illustrate this with a little story about a boat rental business. Once upon a time, an entrepreneurial man lived along a lake. He witnessed the tourists having fun on the water, and he realized he also had a boat in his shed. He put out a boat with a for rent sign. The tourists were attracted, and soon the boatman made enough money to buy extra boats. As his business was growing, the boatman wanted to collect more information about his business. He contacted a consultancy company to help him out. A business analyst came over to find out what he needed to know. The boatman told the business analyst that each day he wanted to know the average duration of the boat trips during that day. The business analyst wrote this requirement as a mathematical model. She used the following formula. The average duration of a boat trip equals the arrival time minus the departure time per trip, summing up all trips of the day, and dividing through the number of trips for that day. The business analyst passed on this requirement to the company's programmer. She asked the programmer to develop a system that would answer the boatman's needs. The programmer looked at the formula and figured out it would be very difficult to implement. In the formula, arrival times and departure times are paired per trip. However, in practice, arrival times and departure time are mixed. If the boats would depart in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, they might well return in a different order. Fortunately, the programmer was really good at maths. He figured out the formula could be changed as follows. He would sum the arrival times and the departure times separately, and then subtract and divide by the number of boat trips. This adapted formula was a lot easier to implement. The programmer developed a system with a departure and an arrival gate. Each gate was equipped with an electronic eye to register the boats departing from and returning to the harbor. At the end of the day, those times were summed, subtracted, and divided by the number of trips. The boatman was delighted with the solution. After a while, the boatman again needed more information about his business and went back to the business analyst. This time, he needed to know the duration of the longest trip at the end of the day. The duration of the longest trip equals arrival time minus departure time, and then the maximum over the different registered times for that day. The business analyst handed over the formula to the developer. She asked to make sure to add this requirement to the system. The programmer looked at the formula and figured out it would be very difficult to implement. The programmer saw immediately that he could not adapt the same simplifying trick to this formula. The maximum duration of a trip does not equal the difference between a maximal departure time and a maximal arrival time. The programmer explained to the business analyst that this new requirement could not just be added to the old system. The old system did not pair arrival and departure times of a single trip. This new requirement would necessitate a completely new system. When the business analyst informed the boatman, he was of course not very happy with this news. He did not understand why a simple extra requirement resulted in breaking the existing system and subsequently in high costs for a new system. It will not surprise you that the boatman never contacted the consultancy company again. What went wrong? How can a simple extra requirement break an entire system? The answer lies in the identification of the core concept of the business. What is this business about? What is the core concept of the boatsman business? The core concept in this case is the boat trip. If you look at the business analyst specification, you can see the concept of the boat trip implicitly identified in this specification. The programmer, however, by reworking the specification, removed the concept of the boat trip entirely. The system's design did not embody the core concept of the business, and that's why the system was broken by adding a new requirement. The lesson to remember is that you need to understand the core concept of a business. The domain model that captures these core concepts need to be at the heart of your information system to ensure adaptability.